Okay, let's talk about going beyond the rules of Mendel. One thing that Mendel suggested was that he had suggested that you only had two alleles and you could only have two at any given time. So the system had two alleles and you could only have two of those alleles. So according to Mendel, there was T, or recessive T. There was a dominant or there was a recessive form. And also, if you think about all the combinations that you could be based on the fact that you have two parents and one chromosome from each parent, Mendel also suggested that you could be homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, and heterozygous. But this was all that could happen. This is like max potential. You couldn't do anything more than this. Bless you. But it's not that simple. It is with pea plants, but not with something advanced like ourselves. So I'm going to go over some things that we have noticed since Mendel. Question.
Wait, so since Mendel noticed this with pea plants, he was like, humans must be the same way?
The theory was that humans would like have similar inheritance patterns.
Uh,
And we do in some cases with very simple things, but not with most of our features. So some of our features follow simple Mendelian inheritance patterns, but a lot of our features don't. Because our features are much more advanced than that of a flower. They were purple versus white, obviously. That's not the way that we are. Our stuff is not as simple. So, some differences between Mendel stuff and what really is the case. Sometimes alleles do not have to be completely dominant or recessive. Okay. Sometimes there's more than just two alleles. So in the case of some genes, there are multiple alleles. An allele is a form or a version of a gene. And so in some cases, it could be expected to have multiple alleles. Like in the case of blood groups, there's there's O, there's A, and there's B. We'll go over that in just a little while, but instead of just having the two, the big T or little t, there could be more than two. In some cases, a single gene can produce multiple phenotypic effects. This one,
Yeah, like
where you have like one thing but many effects.
yeah, like
Pleiotropy.
exactly.
Pleiotropy. And then there's the reversal, which would be a case in which there's a single effect because of many genes.
So is Mendel's theory just limited to like plants and less complex?
Like extremely simple creatures, yes. So a single gene can produce multiple phenotypic effects. Sometimes many genes can produce a single phenotypic effect. You can kind of see the reversal of that case. In the case right above, it says you have one gene, many effects, or in this case, you could have many genes, but causing only one effect, right? It would be like, the way that I view this, or the way that I'm thinking about this, would be, so sometimes a single gene can produce multiple phenotypic effects. So I always think about having one switch that can turn on lights in multiple rooms. In this case of sometimes many genes can produce a single phenotypic effect, I think about turning one light on, but you have to have a lot of switches to cause that light to come on. Right? So it's like a direct reversal. Do you have one control point resulting in many different things occurring, or do you have many control points and only one effect occurring? Makes sense? Okay. No? Yes? Okay. Then let's move on. And we'll start off by talking about the degrees of dominance. What time do y'all have to leave to go to the dance? Good luck today. There's complete dominance, which we've already seen before. This is when the heterozygote and the homozygous dominant are phenotypically identical. This is what Mendel described. Complete dominance. In other words, according to Mendel, you could not distinguish the difference between the big T and the big T little t by just physically looking at them. You had to do more. Right? A test cross. We mentioned that yesterday. So that would be complete dominance. And it's not that the big allele is subduing or overpowering the recessive allele. You know, when you study something in, like, with people, and you say, well, this individual is dominant to that one, the term dominant there makes you feel as though that there's like an overpower